Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In this series, I'm going to share with you 50 Muslim business secrets that are guaranteed to take your business to the next level, inshallah. So Muslim business secret number 1 is silence. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that verily you will continue to be safe for as long as you remain silent. If you speak, what you say can either be held against you or it can be recorded for you. And this is very, very important because it means that the Muslim, as well as the Muslim entrepreneur, should maintain silence most of the time, should only speak out of necessity when you have to. If there's no need to speak, we remain silent. A common mistake I see many entrepreneurs do is that they talk too much. They're talking too much when it comes to client meetings, they're talking too much to their colleagues, they're talking too much with friends even. They like being the center of attention and they feel like the more they speak, the more intelligent they're gonna come across. There is a big mistake. When you are the person who's doing all of the talking all of the time, you run the risk of saying things which are completely uninteresting and irrelevant. You're running the risk of divulging information that doesn't need to be shared. You run the risk of boring the other person. You run the risk of maybe saying something out of turn, maybe saying something that is offensive. So you are exposing yourself to a lot of different types of risks, which you don't have to and you can protect yourself if you were just silent. Talking too much also means something else. It means that you're not doing a very important function, which is listening. If you're doing all of the talking all of the time and you're talking too much more than you should, you're definitely not doing enough listening. And when you're not listening, you're missing out on important details, important information, important nuances. So it's definitely not a good idea, and we should take this advice from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam very seriously. I'm not saying you need to be silent all the time. You know, when you're in business, there are times where you have to talk, explain, close deals. So stay till the end of this video because I'm going to share 3 actionable steps on how to actually implement this powerful Muslim business secret. So let me tell you an interesting story. Last year, me and my business partner were negotiating quite a big deal. It was a block of 100 flats in South London. And we were going back and forth with the developer for many months. It was probably over 4 months of back and forth. At the end of that negotiation period, we were called for a meeting. And the meeting was going to be with the developer, the developer's agent, and the actual owner of the block, who was a wealthy investor from the Middle East. So we got called to this really, really fancy location in Mayfair. Me and my business partner put our best suits on and very, very hopeful that we're going into this meeting and gonna close the biggest deal of our lives. What was incredible in that meeting is that we were there for a good hour and 10 minutes. The wealthy investor, the owner, he didn't say a single word until the very end. That whole meeting, he was listening to us, watching us, observing, analyzing. The entire meeting, he didn't say a single word. He just sat there. Towards the end of the meeting, when he finally opened his mouth, we all perked up and we were just so curious to hear what he had to say, because he was observing quietly this whole time. And what happened was that the few sentences that he mentioned right at the end of the meeting were exactly what we needed to be able to overcome the final stumbling block in this deal. So when you look at it, 2 sentences from him were more valuable, more effective than an hour of me, my business partner, the agent, and the developer talking to each other, trying to get this deal done. Compare the difference. 1 hour of talking didn't get us anywhere, but he stayed silent the whole time, observed, understood, and his words were like arrows. That is the day I learned and realized why silence is such a powerful Muslim business secret. It's not difficult to see that this is something that we've learned from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was always someone who maintained silence and only spoke when he had to. He would always speak much less and listen most of the time. He would always hear everybody out before putting forth his own opinion. So this is something we already have from the best example in the whole of the creation. And for me to see it in action was when the penny dropped for me. And this is why I'm sharing it with you in the series, that it is incredibly powerful. And let me now go through some actionable steps on how, as Muslim entrepreneurs, we can start implementing this from tomorrow. Number one, whenever you're in a meeting, whether it's a one-to-one or a group meeting, be the last one to speak. Spend as much time as you can in that meeting listening, observing, processing, looking for nuances, picking up all the important information, looking at body language. And that will allow you to, when you're actually speaking, you'll be able to make valuable contributions. You'll be able to say a few words, but those words will hit the target bang on. Number two, from tomorrow, try to direct your energy to listening instead of talking and responding. Train yourself to resist the urge to speak. Resist the urge to respond. Train yourself to only speak when you have to, and when you say something, make sure that it's something good. This way you will also get the reward for obeying the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who told us, speak good or remain silent. The third tip is to try and shift your identity as the quiet and thoughtful one. You want to be known as the person who is good at observing, listening, processing, who is thoughtful, who formulates things very, very carefully before you're making a contribution. You want to become like that, because when you, over time, it's going to take you some time, when you become like that and people know that you're the quiet and thoughtful one and not the sporadic, loud, vulgar individual. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs who fit that bucket, unfortunately. They just love the sound of their voice. When you become the thoughtful one and your words carry weight, people will take you way more seriously. People will actually respect your opinion. They will look forward to listening to what you have to say. So I hope I've been able to demonstrate how powerful silence is in business, why I think it's one of the top Muslim business secrets. And I firmly believe that silence can make us better leaders, better listeners, better negotiators. So let's use this, inshallah. Let's implement it and elevate our business game, and together thrive as Muslim business entrepreneurs, inshallah. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. As you know, this is a series of 50. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And I would love to engage with you in the comments below. Until the next episode, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.